guys, and welcome back to Sheri Approved. And again, Dr. Sabrina is with me, and our last segment I think was so informative, and we're staying on the same topic, but we're going to talk about something a little bit different this time. And again, all the questions that I'm asking the doc is based on what you guys sent me, and the synopsis of putting all those questions together. So in this section, we want to talk a little bit about infections, discharges, and the cleaning of the vagina, which is, a hot topic. What should we do and what we shouldn't do? So first, let's talk about yeast infections.
Yes.
Sometimes, people just get, weird smell down there, or they see something strange and they say, oh, I have a yeast infection.
Yes.
How do we know that we have a yeast infection?
Right. So yeast infection, let's pull back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Our vagina actually has bacteria.
Right.
And it actually has yeast.
Right.
Right? That is how whoever invented our vaginas, I know Sheri's good.
Invented it like that way. Yes.
Invented it in that way. So we actually have a protective mechanism where we have the good bacteria.
Okay.
And they are called lactobacilli.
Right.
So you may see that word coming up as good, healthy, normal flora, normal bacteria for all of you who read a lot. And then there is some yeast as well.
Right.
So generally, once your vaginal pH balance, because pH is, you can either be too acidic or too alkaline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a particular range of the pH balance of between 4 to 5, I would say, is a good range.
Okay, so that's more on the
a little more acidic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a little more acidic.
Mm-hmm.
And in that pH, your good bacteria is going to be there and it's going to be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do pick up any external bacteria from anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
then this good bacteria, this natural mechanism of your vagina fights it off.
Okay.
So there's a little battle between the good and the bad,
Mhm.
and most times the good will win.
Right.
So you don't get any infections.
Okay, so you never even knew it happened.
So you never even knew it happened.
Mhm.
Or you may get little bit of changes. So
Mhm.
some women say, well, I don't have this persistently happening, but around the beginning of the period or right after the period, which is where your pH balance is changing,
Mhm.
you can then see the symptom creeping up a little more.
Right.
Because the bad ones are just trying to counteract the
Good ones. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So with yeast infections in particular, some women may not have any symptoms because, as I said, the good bacteria is trying to fight. So
Right.
there's a constant battle to maintain the balance.
Right.
But the most common symptom, if you are to experience symptoms or have yeast, would be itching.
Okay.
So some women get it on the outside, so they get the outside vagina itching. So you see them.
Right.
So they're very uneasy if they're in the bank or if they're sitting down. It itches all the time. And then there's some women that have internal itching.
Okay.
So you sort of feel this whole irritation all the way up inside.
Mhm.
And then there's some women that get burning.
Right.
So you get vaginal burning, where you just feel like your vagina is on fire and you want to sit on a cool ice, a cool ice pack. Some women say so. They say, "Oh my God, doc, this itching is unbelievable. I need to put some cool ice on it, or I need to sit on a freezer."
So that's an indication that there could be a yeast
that's an
infection.
indication that it could be.
Mhm.
And then there's also discharge.
Right.
So for those who have really, really bad yeast, or the good bacteria is just not fighting as it should,
Mhm.
then those girls get very heavy. It looks like a clumpy, I don't want to say cauliflower in case you all like cauliflower, but it actually looks like a cauliflower-ish discharge. The top of the cauliflower, that sort of white,
Right.
thickened thing.
Mhm.
And then some women, you could even see it a little colored as well.
Okay.
So it's primarily white, but you might see a little yellowish clumpiness.
Okay.
So that is yeast.
Should I treat that at home, or should I go to see my doctor?
There are a lot of people that do home remedies, or they
Right.
go to the pharmacy and they get an over-the-counter tablet. My advice is any vaginal discharge should really be seen by your gynecologist.
Okay.
Because the thing is, sometimes you may not only have yeast. So there are other bacteria that can also cause other problems,
Okay.
and we may have to treat with a combined tablet. So
Okay.
there are antifungals which treat yeast, because yeast is a fungus.
Mhm.
But then there are also other tablets or antibiotics, or there are other things
Mhm.
that we may also need to do a combined treatment
Mhm.
depending on what's there. Is it purely yeast, or is it also bacterial and yeast mixed?
Right. Now, when I get a yeast infection and I get medication for it and it clears up, I hear sometimes some women talk about getting a particular yeast infection over and over and over again. They get it,
Yeah.
it clears up for a while, the same thing happens again.
Yes.
Is that an indication of something happening in the body, or something else connected to that?
Right.
Or-
So I usually advise people when you do your treatment or we identify that it's just yeast, you then have to also do your lifestyle. So after the polycystic, I told you it's a lifestyle change. You now have to focus on your vaginal health, your vaginal pH balance. Right now, a lot of girls come in and they say, well, they use a lot of panty shields, right?
Okay.
Or they use a lot of vaginal washes, right? My point about all of these things: your vagina was not designed or didn't want to be hidden and warm. And when you already have your underwear that you're putting on it.
Right.
But when on top of your underwear you put on a panty shield, and every day you're using this panty shield, your vagina is warm, it's dark, it's hot, it's irritated,
right,
and therefore your pH balance gets affected. So there are a lot of things that I think we are doing on a daily basis that we need to cut out.
And so many women wear panty shield on a regular basis.
Exactly, because they don't want their vagina to touch
the underwear. But what about, as you mentioned, the underwear as well? Because you put it on the underwear, so should it be, because I've heard my mother say you should wear cotton underwear. Is that the best?
Yeah. Well, cotton underwear, they say that it holds on to yeast or bacteria the least.
Okay.
Right? And then the other day I posted up on my page something about white. So a lot of people said, why white? Again, it brings us back to this thing. Anything that's dark, that's warm, that's harboring heat, will then change your pH balance. And then,
I feel like a light bulb just went off, ting, 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 ting. Wow.
I mean, you have to go back to basics.
Right.
Things are basic.
But I mean, something like that I've never heard. But I mean, that's important information. So just these little changes can actually make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about lifestyle. So,
Right, so lifestyle changes. So a lot of people use vaginal washes.
Right.
I am against vaginal washes in a huge way because again the vagina has its own mechanisms where it cleanses itself. You don't have to put a set of soap. There's some girls that are going on a date and they cream all up inside of there, and that's the thing. You feel like you're doing a good, but you're actually just really not. And then these are the girls who would then be getting the recurrence because they just offset.
Because they're doing this all and they're doing this all the time.
Yes.
So how should, therefore, we come to that important question? How should the vagina be cleansed? Because you feel that you've worked all day, you sweat all over, so you feel like you sweat there, and you feel like you need to do something as well. What should you do, or what should we be doing?
So the vagina doesn't need much, right? Yes, thank God. So what I do, and obviously I must know what I'm doing too.
Right.
I just basically use warm water inside.
Right.
So on the outside, of course, the outside is the area that picks up a lot of, you use toilet or you're using a lot of external things. So the outer lips or the labial lips are more exposed to environment. So those you particularly have to wash, and I usually advise non-scented soaps.
Okay.
Just to wash the outer labia. But the actual inside doesn't need a lot of soap.
So that's just water.
So that's just warm water.
So now when you said unscented, just regular bath soap, or could it be because all of these vaginal washes will say
they will say unscented.
Some of them will say unscented, and some of them say gynecologically tested and all of this. So I mean, those can be used. Those unscented ones could be used on the outside, or no?
I would think anything commercialized that was designed as a wash, I don't think that it really. This is my opinion. I have to put that disclaimer out. My view, and I'd like to go back to basics. If something was designed not to have extra chemicals in it, and all of these washes have chemicals, then why put chemicals inside?
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So, let me ask this question, because I remember when I came to you about this, you also advised me as well to have yogurt.
Yes.
Have dahi.
Yes.
Kefir, that kind of thing. Why? And should that be a regular part of our diet? And how is that connected to my vagina?
Right. So you want to, I actually do the dahi, I posted up on my page also that I mix the dahi, I do the yogurt. Now we're talking about natural yogurt.
Natural, yeah.
Because a lot of the commercial yogurts, by the time it's processed, you're losing a lot of those, what we call probiotics. So probiotics, many women should be familiar with this. It's good bacteria. Right? And dahi is one thing that she mentioned that I always advise my patients to do. It's the most live culture, so it's the best. It has the most live bacteria that lactobacilli that you need in your body. So how does that? It goes into the system, and its probiotics are also for gut, so also for digestion as well, right? But what it does is when it goes into the body, it creates a higher normal flora, normal bacterial balance, right? And with that, I know it's it's indirect, so it's not like you drink the dahi and the
Right, of course.
and they go straight down. But it puts your body into a balance, it changes then the pH, so the acidity, the alkalinity, and therefore once your whole body's acidity or alkalinity is controlled, your vagina will also be balanced.
And obviously this doesn't happen after just taking 1 cup or
no,
one
it has to again be
be
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
Yeah, you have to commit to the change.
And what else would you, is there anything else you would recommend, or
Not
maybe
recommend.
or not recommend, maybe something that people, when you see patients with infections and that kind of thing, that may be lifestyle related, or maybe signs of things that should alert you, see your gynecologist.
Yeah. Well, I think douching is one thing that I wanted to say is very, very no-no. I think a lot of women are catching on to the fact that it's not a good thing to do.
What is douching, for those of us who don't
So
know?
it's an internal cleanse.
Right.
So it's actually that they manufacture this thing that you can insert like a tampon, and it's supposed to cleanse. But again, it's also just killing your good bacteria, in my opinion.
Right.
As I said.
Have you ever heard, this is just by the way, have you ever heard about something called yoni pearls or some kind of...
Yeah. Yes.
If somebody asked about that is related to this whole vaginal cleansing
It
thing
is,
too, right?
yeah, it is related to that, and again,
And that's
my
no-no.
view is a no-no.
X, that's a big X, no? So the person who asks a question, the doc says, no, don't use it. Okay,
Now, we were talking about recurrence, and I have to say this, if you're seeing your gynecologist, ask about treating your partner. Because there's some situations where our partners are not treated, and our yeast or our bacteria can go onto the penis, and most men, they get away with everything. They don't get symptoms, so they may not even know that they've become carriers of bacteria or yeast.
Right.
And therefore, you're treating yourself, you have unprotected, there is contact again, and then bam, straight back to square one. So that's another thing that you have to be, aware of should your partner get treated, and ask the questions because your doctor will guide you.
Good. I think we brought some really, really important points there, and that last point, especially about your partner, I think is very important, because some people, it may be happening over and over and over again, and they can't really figure out why.
Yeah.
And I'm glad there are doctors who will actually sit and tell you, you know what, if you are getting treated, let's treat him too.
Yeah.
Let's just
I think men get away. Scot free.
Fellas, no, not on this doctor's watch.
Now, there are other things to look out for, just to tie things up. Any discharge that is colored. So if you have a yellow discharge, if you have a grayish discharge, if you have a frothy discharge, if you have a fishy or fresh smell, all of these things are not normal. So I would advise you to get it checked. And how we check it, don't be afraid of it. When you come into the office, we put in a very tiny speculum. It's smaller than a penis, and this is what I always tell women, because they get very afraid. Oh my gosh, they're going to put something inside of me and check. I'm not going to the gynecologist. We have very tiny speculums now, so it's really just to slip it in and have a look inside, because you'll be surprised. Sometimes you may not have external discharge, but when we look inside, there's a lot of discharge that latches onto the vagina. So when you have sex, you actually see it coming out on the condom.
Okay.
And that's how some women get alerted to it as well.
Oh, wow.
So you really need to look inside there. Don't be afraid of it. Just have it checked.
Wonderful. And just the last question, based on what you said just now. So you identified what is not normal. So how about we end by saying what is normal?
Yes.
Yeah, what is a normal discharge?
So every woman is different, and every woman is going to have a different discharge. There's some women that have the discharge around the ovulation time.
Right.
So it's a sort of a clear, sticky discharge. That is normal. You don't need to worry about that. Things that are abnormal, any itching, any burning, any color change, any scent, or any thickness, or very thick, or also if you're spotting out of your period cycle or after intercourse. So those are the things that you look out for.
The spotting could be indicative of an infection.
Yeah, because where the infection happens is around your cervix area, which is where we take the pap smears from.
Right.
And that is the area that can have some spotting after sex as well, because it's irritated.
And I saw someone mention about feeling like if her vagina is on fire during her period.
Yes.
This is that a sign of possibly an
It
infection?
can be, because your pH balance, as I said, changes as your cycle goes along. So if it's particularly lowered and the bad bacteria was already there, it's going to flare itself up.
Okay, understood. Okay, so ladies, don't take it for granted. Anything that you see that appears to be out of the ordinary, and perhaps maybe you think it's ordinary, it ain't. Let the professionals see about that. Come to the doctor, let her check, and it's better that she says, no, you're good, everything's fine,
yeah.
you will be reassured, and it's nothing to lose sleep over and get extra stressed. We don't need it,
And I have some girls taking pictures and they send it to me on picture to show me. That's okay, that's alright.
This is the
Nothing
doctor.
I haven't seen before.
It's the doctor to do that, okay? So thank you so much, Sabrina. This information, again, I think is very, very helpful, very timely. We will put the numbers to contact her on the screen. She has 3 offices in San Fernando, Aranguez, and here in Port of Spain. So you have multiple ways to get to her. Nowhere in Trinidad is far anymore, no. And you can simply call and make an appointment to your convenience and come in and have a chat with her. I'm sure you're going to be really, really pleased and impressed with your visit. So
I just love what I do, to be honest with you. And I have a passion about women's health, and I mean, you just want to. The mission is just to make people better, make them more aware of themselves. The mission is not to pull you down or to make you feel ostracized or that something's really wrong with you. There's nothing you could do. Don't feel like that at all. Just
I think that's the best way to end. And we will continue our series because I think this is going to be really important.
Ask the doc.
Yes, ask the doc. And as long as doc is available, we'll do it. I have a ton of questions here that you guys have asked.
So we haven't even touched. Oh my god.
So we will get it done, don't worry. But I hope that you enjoyed looking at this. And again, if you have any questions or queries, please feel free to comment below and we'll get to them. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.